So, walkthrough for you. This time's Revolution basic set. They're a set of holds that Clark sent to us a long time ago, around 2008. And we thought they were actually going to change mix to urethane, so we never reviewed them. But as they're still kicking with the old resin, we figured we'd get around to doing them now. We've got 3 sets for you: jugs, in-cuts, slopes. We've done a variety of things, you know, as we've had these since probably August 2008. You know, we've had them on the wall a lot. They've always got mixed into certain routes when we're trying to train for stuff, so we'll just kick and go. In-cuts. What you can tell from these is Inset Washer and Revolution always have this really quite wonderful little indentation and little code number on it. This is an IL2, which is in-cut line 1, I'm guessing. We don't actually know what they stand for, but they're always there, and it's always handy to find, oh, hang on, I want IL2s, SM1s or whatever, so it's really easy. So, you know, bear in mind this is from 2008. You can see as it's resin, they're a little bit chipped up from where we've thrown them about a little bit. You have to be very careful with resin holds, Revolutions. You know, they do get chipped if you're throwing them around in boxes, so be careful. So the first one, this guy, is a great big double-handed match. You're looking at a pad to about, well, a pad and a little bit on this. Nice rounded edges, very finger friendly. Better to climb on the 45 than you actually think. Number 2, again, you're looking at something that's very, very in-cut, you know, always smooth. These are the basic lines, so they're very simple shapes. You're looking at a pad and a quarter. You can get 2 hands on it, but it's going to be a bit of a squeeze. But you're looking at something that's just nice, smooth, round, and your fingers aren't going to complain too much when you're pulling on the sticks with it. Number 3, this one is nice and just, you know, this one's nice and got a beautiful radius on it. You're looking at a pad and a half to 2 pads, easily matchable. These aren't actually all that big, you know, these are the large size, and they are, I suppose for a large size hold, they're actually a good large size hold. They're actually, you know, pretty matchable in most cases. We only have 4 out of the 5. We never got all 5 of them. On to the last one. You're looking at single hand 2 pads, beautifully in cut. So you get it, you know, it's really quite bomber. It's more like a jug than it is on a, well, it's an in-cut jug. Same thing really when you think about it. All of the holes have inset washers. Some of the bolt holes are slightly bored out and a little bit more oval and a bit larger than you really want them to be, but you know, nothing too bad. Onto the jugs. This guy is, you know, one-handed, 4 fingers, 2 pads all the way over. Nice radius, so you're not going to tweak your fingers out. Chris puts these on the roof, and they're jugs, but I don't think they're actually really big enough to be on the roof unless, you know, don't get me wrong, you can climb on them, you can pull all over the roof on them. I find them a little bit small, a bit marginal than I'd really like for a jug on the roof. But, you know, I'm a big girl, you know. Number 2, again, this guy, super in-cut. The in-cut and the jugs are very complementary to each other. You're looking at 2 pads, really beautifully round. Your fingers and your tendons are not being stressed by this guy whatsoever. These have JS1 on them. So I was being French, GS1, sorry. JS1, which is jug, small, set 1. This guy, nice and big, you know, like you keep saying, basic shapes, really nice. 2 easy 2 pads. You could probably get a bit of a sneaky 3-finger match on it either side. It's actually, you know, these are really quite big and really quite bomber. Last one, like I said, we've only got 4 out of the 5. This guy, again, you're looking at a nice big. This one's probably like 2 pads on a little bit, like super bomber, easy to hold, very kid friendly, very beginner friendly hold. You know, a beginner's going to see a hold this size and go, ooh, you know, looks a bit small, but when they get there and they get their little digits around it, they're going to be more than happy because the thing is bloody massive. Then we move on to my favourite set out of the basics. The basics actually have in-cuts, jugs, slopes, pockets and pinches. We've only got in-cuts, jugs and slopes, but I do like myself a good slope. The sanding, you can see it's been on the belt sander, it's nice and smooth. These things are bloody horrible, but in a good way. I do like slopes, so you know, I'm thinking these guys, you know, you're looking at this side, 1/4 pad, this side, 1/4 pad, this side, which is the biggest, just about a pad. You know, not too much for a thumb catch. They're actually much harder. They're, you know, super smooth. So, you know, looking at completely palm-sized holds. They're actually much harder than you think they're going to be. And they're actually an awful lot of fun on vertical walls for beginners. They're going to teach them balance, and you put them on a slight overhang. Yeah, you'll see the video and you'll see some screamers when we try and match this bugger. So, number 2, you're looking at a pad, 1/4 pad, and well, get as much skin as you want onto this one and just pray basically. A really nice pinch on this guy. You know, it's not bad. I'm actually squeezing quite hard. It's actually, the texture, you know, all through the Revolution range is very consistent. And these, because of the resin, the foam they're shaped from, they're actually really quite grippy even when they're chalked up. Number 3, 2 pads. We had this on top of the Infinity board base, and we were slapping down on it. And it's funny, even though the wall is like this and the board is like this, you know, it was kind of ended up being around vertical. There's actually more grip on this guy, as Chris said, than we actually expected. I was expecting to get pinged off and thrown on the floor, but it's this funny, the way it's shaped, there's this funny little ridge. It's completely smooth, but this is the bit here that keeps you on. None of this, it's actually this bit where your skin hits it. It's quite interesting. So you're looking at 2 pads, and then, well, if you're going to try and hold on to it this way, then you're just a little bit daft. Number 4, this one's actually the nicest one out of the lot. You're looking at a pad and a half on this guy. Deeper than the rest of them, so you can really get onto it. And you get onto it and you're like, oh, thank God I got onto this, because this one's the best one out of the lot. Again, put it up the wrong way, grab onto it. Yeah, on a, you know, on an arete where you're slapping either side, it's going to be doable, but on a vertical wall, you're asking for trouble. And the one that caused us the most trouble on that route, this one you can actually match. It's got a nice little in cut and a nice little dimple in here where you get your fingers, and we had it on the 30°, and your fingers slide back and they catch this little upturn ridge here, and it's beautiful to grab onto one-handed. Matching it, yeah, it's kind of a different case, and you'll see from the video that when we were playing with these, we were getting spat until we figured out that you could really get on a match and really get onto it. These 2 holds are my favourites out of the entire basic line. This is one of my go-tos for I want to pitch Chris to the floor, because it's always fun to stick it somewhere silly and go, hey Chris, try this, and then unfortunately it normally gets me in the ass as well, because I end up on the floor as well. This whole bunch here is a large part, well actually not even a large part, a small part of the basic line series from Revolution. They should be a staple on most people's walls, because basic shapes aren't going to stress your fingers. It means you can train harder, train longer, get stronger for your projects. It's all good, people.